hassles. You cannot simply padlock the main entrance without proper notification. This is an absolute outrage.
I understand your frustration.
They chained my driveway right before sunrise, metal clanking in the cold air like cuffs. The padlock snapped shut at 6:00 a.m. A cone scraped across the asphalt. I stood in slippers, coffee steam in my face, watching hazard lights flash from the HOA golf cart like tiny police. Karen, our HOA president, waved a clipboard and yelled over the blinking light bar that my guests' cars violated a new emergency access rule. The street smelled like wet tar from last night's rain. I said I'm due at work by 7:30. She smiled like that was the point. A tow truck idled at the end of the block, diesel rumbling. She tapped the lock twice, tossed the key in her coat, and drove off. This is about how HOA padlocked the mansion driveway at 6. Too bad I am the Inspector General. The fight wasn't about parking. It was about power. Our lane feeds a historic mansion I'm restoring, and the HOA hates the weekend tours. They called my music loud when it was a podcast, called my guests vendors to add fees. They billed me $200 for a garden hose coiled wrong. All that noise was background. The padlock was the grab. A line in the sand made of cheap steel and smug rules. And me? I know the boring rules that really matter. My badge doesn't make me above the law. It makes me stubborn about using it. I tried to fix it the easy way. I knocked on Karen's door at 6:15. Her porch light was so bright it made the fog glow. "Let me out," I said. "I have a contractor coming at 8:00. She crossed her arms. She said the board voted last night, 9:00 p.m., emergency gate rule. The neighbors watched from curtains like birds, safe and scared. I called the number on the tow sign. "Your car is on a list," the guy said, laughing. On my notepad I wrote it down like evidence. Timeline item 1 April 5 at 4:27 a.m. false trespass call. They did that to my electrician, and the cops wrote it up. Patterns of false reports can be prosecuted. I spoke calmly, even when she said, "Try suing." She wouldn't unlock it. The board ignored my texts. I was late to work because my own house was trapped. Fine. No yelling. No bolt cutters. No hero pose. I made a promise out loud in my kitchen where the coffee went cold. I'll use proper channels only. I set the binder on my table and started the boring superpower. I lined up photos, emails, and call logs in a binder. I pulled our CC and RS. I pulled county codes on egress, fire lanes, and right-of-way. I filed a request for public records on their recent board actions, dates, votes, and notices. 3 days later, the file landed with 63 pages. It was heavier than it looked. There were screenshots where Karen bragged in the HOA group about teaching me a lesson. There was a memo that said the gate rule would apply to one property for now. Mine. I circled a sentence, "No notice mailed." 2 separate violations in 12 words. Next I set a trap that wasn't really a trap. It was a calendar event with teeth. I scheduled a safety inspection through the city for May 3, 2024 at 9:00 a.m. I emailed the HOA the legal courtesy notice at exactly 8:02 a.m. the day before and got the read receipts. I copied the property manager, the fire inspector, the council aide, and my attorney friend who speaks fluent boring. I also copied our neighborhood watch because Karen loves an audience. Then I rolled my trash can to the curb and waited with my binder like it was popcorn. At 8:40 a.m. on May 3, they rolled up the golf cart, set the same cones, and clicked the same padlock. They posted a new sign that said emergency access fee $250. That number would age badly in 10 minutes. When the fire inspector's truck turned the corner, 3 phones went up from porches. The inspector stepped out, looked at the chain, and looked at me. He didn't need my job title, but I gave it anyway. "Quiet, I'm the Inspector General for State Infrastructure. I am here as a homeowner today." He nodded once. Then he asked Karen who authorized blocking an occupied property with no secondary exit. She said board policy. He said state code. He asked for notice letters. She said the website. He pointed at the ambulance that I had requested to do a silent drive-by, lights only, as part of the demo. The ambulance paused at the padlock, lights flashing blue against Karen's white visor. People filmed. A kid said out loud, "That's illegal, right?" The inspector's tape measure snapped. He wrote numbers. He took photos. My binder opened itself like a trick. By lunchtime, the video had hit our local Facebook group. Comments stacked, "That lock is a fire trap." Someone posted, "The mansion guy is actually an inspector." Another posted, "Karen did this to me over a wreath." Neighbors who never waved now waved. One wrote a long thread listing 5 complaints she filed since January. I counted. I was number 6. The HOA tried to respond with a long statement about safety. The top reply said, "Safety is not a weapon." Our mailman laughed so hard he had to sit in his van. The tow guy never came. The city posted a notice on the lock, "Remove immediately or be fined per day." It hung there like a scarlet letter in cheap plastic. Then the authority flip landed like a gavel. The inspector signed a finding: unlawful obstruction of required egress, failure to notice homeowners, misuse of emergency signage. The council aide emailed me at 3:14 p.m. The board would meet in public the next week. I put on a clean shirt and brought the binder. I spoke for 2 minutes, calm. I showed read receipts. I read one line from the CC&RS about equal application of rules. Karen tried to talk over me. The chair cut her off. The vote wasn't close. Fines against the HOA, not us. Mandatory training. Karen removed as president for 1 year. The property manager was directed to cut the chain that night. Click, and the driveway breathed again. After that, the street went quiet in the best way. No more cones. No more 4:00 a.m. false alarms. The new board sent a letter with an apology and voided the $200 and the $250 pretend fees. They set up a block party and asked if I could open the mansion for kids to see the old staircase. I said yes, of course. My head contractor grilled, and Karen showed up without the visor, holding a pie she didn't bake. She kept to herself. It was fine. The point wasn't to crush her. It was to stop the nonsense and make the rules mean something again. I looked down our lane at dusk, lights warm, no chains, and felt the place finally belonged to all of us. Please follow for more HOA showdowns like this. Do you think she got what she deserves? Comment below.